Hi, Steve. Hello, good morning, good evening, where you are. I'm really happy to see you.
Thank you for having me. This is really exciting for me. So I'm excited to chat.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. I know we kind of had one conversation and clicked quickly the first time, found a lot of things in common despite different age and differences in our life. I'm speaking now from Toronto, Canada, and please share where you are now.
I am in beautiful, wonderful Zagreb, Croatia, capital of Croatia. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm really happy for you. Please tell us how you get there, what you did, and tell us stories about your life in Croatia.
Yeah. So how I got here, I'd been in Croatia a couple times way in the past, 2014. And so that was when I worked for a cruise line, and I'd been there just one day at a time, basically. Came in 2019 because I had a friend here, and I visited for a longer period of time to Zagreb. So I'd been on the coast, came to Zagreb, and it sort of like captured my imagination. Just, you have this beautiful Austro-Hungarian architecture. You have sort of the old Yugoslavia era history, plus the really old history. It's been around for millennia, the city. And so there's just this deep, interesting vibe that the city has. And there's a good feeling of like sort of they're being discovered in a way. Like a lot of people never consider to go to Zagreb, I don't think. They always go to Dubrovnik, Split, Rovinj, Istria up north. But now people are starting to discover this, and you could feel like sort of energy here. So I liked that when I was here in 2019. I came twice, actually. And so I knew after the second time that I came, which was for 1 month, I'm like, I have to live in this city somehow. And so I planned to come back sooner, but the pandemic sort of made life challenging. So I had to sort of reconfigure how I worked and create literally a new job for myself. And so then I came back in December of 2020 when they had announced the digital nomad visa, or permit, actually. It's different. And so now I've been here for over a year, actually.
Okay, it's kind of standard digital nomad story, but actually not standard because everyone living his life. And how was life for you? How it's impacted you? Other than, I understand you're living now in the European continent, enjoying the history and architecture, maybe on a work perspective, or no, as a personal perspective. How this last year affected you?
With work, it's been weirdly one of the best years I've had. And I know that's a strange thing to say in the context of there being a global pandemic and some of the current events in Europe. It's weird to say like 2021 was a really good year, but I learned a lot about how to work better for me. I learned how to create some boundaries better. I learned how to deal with clients better, how to sort of like the whole profession of sort of being like in the freelance world. I'm not gonna say I mastered it because I don't think you really ever master it, but I've gotten really comfortable in client acquisition and doing better quality work that I do deliver. So it's been really good professionally for me this past year because I've gotten to really focus on it. At the beginning, before I came here, all I did was figure out how to do this better. So in that sense, work has been good, and I've slowly gotten a good balance with being able to enjoy the things you mentioned, the history, the beautiful sort of things that Europe has and that Croatia has to offer, and getting better at work and delivering and making more throughout the year, and actually raising my income.
Please explain what exactly you're doing. What is your work about? What kind of skills, what kind of professional field do you represent now?
Yes. So right now I'm a writer, freelance writer. So that's, let's say 75% of my job is like copywriting, articles, newsletters, email stuff, marketing, all marketing related, and a few things that are like under my name, but mostly for companies. And before that, I was a video producer. So for like 10 years, I was working in video. And that's what I was said earlier, where I had to like figure out a whole new job. I lost all of my video work at the beginning of the pandemic. There was no more work to do. So I had to figure out how I was going to make money, literally, because I was making no money. And that's where I'm like, I need a job that I like, because I need to be able to focus a lot of time on it. So I have to at least like it a little bit. And I need to not have human contact because of the time. I needed to just be able to do it in front of a computer. And so I'm like, writing, that's what I like. And I have a marketing degree. So I'm like, okay, I could combine these. I could find a way for someone to pay me. No one had ever paid me to write before, though, was the problem. So I declared from one day to the next. I'm like, I'm a writer. And from there, I just figured it out.
So you started from Medium. Where was your platform for writing?
No. I started it on Upwork. So Medium is now where I post just like things about freelancing and about digital nomad stuff and about just remote work. Because I knew I felt I didn't have enough stuff that was by me out there. Because a lot of the things I write, no one reads. Like, it's not a blog or anything. It's just, I do web copy for a website for a company that needs, a rewrite or redesigning. And so no one's going to know I wrote that. It could be on my portfolio, but I wanted to have more stuff that was related to things that I'm interested in and that could help people. So I write about freelancing on Medium. And I hope that helps people that come across it, how to use Upwork better, things like that.
Okay.
But it was Upwork. Upwork was the answer to that.
So people know now where to find you. It's what I'm about. And Upwork. So who are your clients are from? What country? So
it's predominantly from the US. I would say the majority is US. I have a couple European clients. So I had one client from Finland, a client from Germany now, but sparing like someone from Australia, I did some writing for. So, but it's mostly US based. Mostly on the East Coast of the US, actually, even so, even more specific. But US is 85% probably.
Okay, great. So what about your social life in Croatia and Zagreb? Please enlighten us about this important part of our life.
It's excellent. So Croatia is all around excellent. Everyone thinks about the coast, right? They're like, I'm going to go just be there for like a month. I'm going to go vacation there. There's a lot of social stuff, a lot of social life happenings, let's say, on the coast. Just immense amount of events, activities, bars, cafes, restaurants. No one thinks necessarily to come over to Zagreb yet. They started to figure it out, but Zagreb, really great scene. And like, surprisingly, like I don't think people expect there to be like a really good restaurant scene here, really good international restaurants and good local, cuisine as well. A lot of bars, a lot of, places to try great Croatian wine, which is world-class wine bars here. Regular, just bars, great beer. So there's endless like opportunities you could pretty much go to a new place every day of the year and still have like hundreds left. It's for a city that only has, like, I think a little bit less than 1 million people. There's a lot happening and it's super convenient because you can walk everywhere and there's a tram system that's like on time. Whereas like the metro in New York is not on time that much. Here it's pretty good. So that kind of answered social life, and I'm basically a commercial for Zagreb now, but it's a great place to go out and enjoy.
But somehow I had ideas that there are digital nomad remote workers from different countries in Zagreb. I understand it's split at Dubrovnik known, and it's a kind of vacation heavens for many people. But did you find professionals, remote workers in capital as well? Like, are you interacting in life with them?
Yeah. And that's something that I actually, I'll tell a small story that will give an example of the whole thing. So January and like February are historically really like slow months in Zagreb, from what I'm told. And really, like, there's not like a major tourism season other than like December and then, some of the warmer months. In January, I went to a wine tasting in the city center. It was 25 people, nobody from Croatia. And there was another party in the back that was also not from Croatia. And the woman that was explaining the wines, she's just like, we don't have this in January here. This is unreal. Like, we don't have this many people. I don't know what it is, but Zagreb is full of people now. And none of us were Croatian. We're all from some different country. People at that event were from the US, from Canada, some from, I think, Argentina or Bolivia, maybe it was, from like pretty much anywhere on the map, other European countries. And they were all in Zagreb because there was infrastructure that you can work here easily, tons of co-working spaces if you don't want to work from home, and everything's super accessible. And its cost of living is really, really, really favorable. So there's a lot. The long answer to a short question.
It's very interesting. I believe for anyone who would be thinking about remote work and digital nomad living opportunities and actually lifestyle of Croatia and Zagreb in particular, I think it's one of the best what Europe can offer. Not very expensive. It's still not cheapest country, but very, center, one of the cultural centers with unique history. And it's good that COVID not affected this region so far. It's affected us in North America. I mean, in regards to lifestyle, openness.
It was. I mean, I've been telling people regularly, and this goes for people at home, people that I meet here when we're going out and enjoying ourselves. I'm just like, there's no better place to have been during this, whole phase of human existence. Like Croatia, for reasons that were related to money, because their economy depends on tourism. So they made a decision to say, we're going to stay open, but it didn't have a negative effect. Like it wasn't a crazy amount of like cases and blah, 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 blah. I want to go into all that, but like they decided to say, we have to do this. We want to do this. And it was fine, basically. I'm not advocating for not having rules, but Croatia was a very nice place to be during this last 2 years.
No, I just think for me, balanced. It was balanced.
It was balanced. That was a good way. That was a good way to put it. Yeah. I'm like, what am I trying to say? Because I realize when I'm listening to myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm saying something that doesn't sound correct. Balanced. There was a balanced approach that I think was really favorable for the people that were living here, local people that were able to continue doing their jobs, and then the people that had the ability to travel still, they could still come here. So they took an approach that I think was pragmatic and ended up being a good decision, because now for digital nomads specifically, it's become a country that was already on the map for the coast, but Zagreb has now become a place where people that are living the type of life that I am are actively thinking about coming, and they do come now. So it's
one of the advantages of this policies, because Zagreb was on my personal to visit list for years, and listening to you and other stories about Zagreb now, I was planning to do it last summer. I hope I would be able to cross the to cross the Atlantic to be on the European continent this summer. But let's go back to you. What about language challenges, if you've had? And please tell us how you're interacting with local people.
Honestly, there's not much of a language barrier. For a country that's so small, there's like a little bit less than 4 million people. They know they kind of have to learn English, not to be like, oh, everyone learns my language, but like to be sort of part of the world economy, let's say. People in Zagreb, and similar for people in Belgrade or people in Crna Gora, Montenegro, they need to learn multiple languages. So everyone here not only knows English, if they're under 45, let's say, they know English really well generally, on top of knowing like Italian, on top of knowing German, on top of knowing a couple others. So everyone here is just like is multilingual. The only language barriers that I tend to have, if I do, is if I go to the market. And the market has, like 60-year-olds, 55, 65, like just old timers, let's say. And they're wonderful, great, warm people. They don't necessarily speak English, but like, you know a few words, and I know Russian, so like there's a lot of similar words. So with them, I'll be able to figure out a short conversation to get what I need, and be pleasant and have like a little bit of a connection. But that's the only place. Anywhere on the coast, for sure, everyone speaks English. Zagreb, pretty much completely. The eastern part of the country, a little bit less English, but not anything difficult. Not anything that you would be like, oh my God, I can't figure this out. It's very, just come. That's all I'm saying. You don't need to worry about the language.
Yes. And I would like to outline that every language, every knowledge of different language just give us more opportunity to interact with people in many countries. As you mentioned, your knowledge of Russian helping you in Croatia. So I hope my Russian will help me as well. I'm sure, I know. I feel very comfortable in Eastern Europe, in Bulgaria, in Serbia. I have not been yet because I know that people welcoming, people would like to understand each other. And if you smile to people, you get a back smile as well. And language would help you, any language, to remediate any issues.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a really good way to put it. It's to your point, very welcoming. Even if you don't know a couple words in Croatian, it's obviously really nice for everybody. If that's here, if you can say a few words, it's nice. Everyone appreciates that. But like the people absolutely are some of the most welcoming, hospitable, warm people. Like I think the whole Eastern Europe is generally similar with that sort of. I really want people to have a good time, and like you can't come to their country or their house or their bar or their whatever and like have a bad time. They won't let you have a bad time. So
great. Maybe some kind of warning for future to be remote workers in these countries, or something to share, to let think about for digital nomads or remote workers who looking their ways in this part of the Europe.
What was the question again? A warning?
Because I'm trying again to have balanced approach to give a picture of what is good, amazing.
That's right. So
people should be aware of.
That's fair. So Croatia, I think, is sort of well known for having a pretty difficult bureaucracy. And so if you're here for a longer period of time, if you're coming on a tourist visa, it's not something you have to deal with. But for me, I've been here for over a year. And so there's like some annoyances that are possible if you have the permit that I have, which is like when I moved to a different apartment, I had to go to the government and I had to get another ID, which took a while. And it was like, you have to take a very specific kind of picture. You can't smile in the picture, which I didn't know. So I had to get another picture. And I'm like, unnecessary rules that make no sense. And in that case, I'm like, why does it matter if I'm smiling in my picture? Like, no, we can't print IDs with smiles. So that was fun. I had to go do that twice. And so then when I moved, had to go give them the picture, get a new ID, wait 3 weeks, go back and get it, which seems like an unnecessary hassle. For Americans, this is going to be good advice. If you're going to plan to be here for the digital nomad permit, and you want to get a background check before you get here, because you can't get fingerprinted at the U.S. Embassy here. They don't do that, which there's a lot of people that work at the U.S. Embassy here. I don't know why one of them doesn't know how to do fingerprints, but you can't get it done here. The Croatian government will help you, but it's also a pain. So if you can handle all of your business with the background check before you ever leave the States, have that. So those are a couple things, but yeah, there's some issues with occasionally. I got lucky where I haven't had too much of a negative experience with the bureaucracy. I haven't had that many touch points, but they're working on it. Even the application for the visa has gotten better in the last year because they're trying now to modernize, and it's working. It's just slow, but it's working. They are making improvements.
Okay, thank you. I think it's very important.
One more. I have one more. Sorry.
Okay.
For the coast, don't only go to Split and don't only go to Dubrovnik. First of all, they're going to be the two most expensive places. They're great. They're beautiful. Visit them. But there's so many places on the coast that are still sort of undiscovered that are much, maybe not more of your time, but definitely prioritize seeing Split and Dubrovnik, but go to Šibenik, go to Zadar, go to, Pula, Istria. Like Rovinj up there. There's still a lot of people go there too, but like there's a much richer offering and more affordable than just going to the two places that everyone's heard of. And then avoid Split and Dubrovnik June, July, and even August. So if you're going to go to Split, for example, September, that's when you want to be there. The sea is really nice, and it's the warmest part of the year for the sea. Most of like the cruise ships and people and blah, blah, blah are gone. So the weather's still great. So that's another word of advice. Don't go to the only two places you've heard of. Give yourself time to explore it.
And I would add from my side, actually, what I do before visiting any new country for me, and read about this country, read about history, read about culture. You will find many more interesting points of interest and visit the Dalmatians. So you will get completely different picture of the country, of the world, visiting and having your itinerary shaped around these interesting places. And it's fair for every place, for every country, but specifically in Europe, because there's a lot of history, a lot of interesting things to see, to know, to be part of. Thank you very much for sharing this, Steve. And I understand your time in Croatia kind of going to roll up. What are the next point in your digital nomad and remote life? The next chapters.
Yeah, so it's true. It's end of March is going to be when it expires, which I'm sad about. I'll be shedding tears as we get closer. Genuinely, it's like I just feel like I'm home here because I've just gotten to know the culture, the history, the people. It just feels very nice to be here. So I'll come back, but before I do come back, I'm going to go to Belgrade, Serbia, for a couple of weeks before going back to the U.S. So I'll visit my family between Florida and New Jersey. And I'm not sure exactly how much time that'll be, 2 to 3 months, probably be in the US. And my plan is to come back to Europe. And initially that was to go to Georgia and go to Batumi on the Black Sea and go to Tbilisi, the capital, and spend basically 2 to 3 months there. Well, current events are such that I have to figure out if that's going to happen or not. But my alternative to that is going to be going to either Bulgaria, Hungary, or Albania, I think would be the three. So Eastern Europe essentially is the answer, because I really feel like you mentioned earlier that you have a comfort. You just feel, maybe it's because like we're both Slavic. You much more because you're actually from, Moldova. I'm like of descent, Slavic descent. So, but I still feel, because of how I grew up, when our family got together, the get-togethers feel similar here, and the nature of how we do things feels similar. So I just like this part of the world. And so the answer to that is I'll be somewhere back here in Eastern Europe.
Okay, Steve, I hope we much meet each other, because I'm planning to be this summer in Bulgaria as well in Georgia. For several years I'm planning. And I think one of the reasons I feel pretty comfortable with Eastern Europe, first of all, because I am from Eastern Europe, and I know that people from this region, we have different life lessons, historical lessons. We are different. Even I live for 25 years in Canada, I still feel that I am European, and I'm Eastern European because of my background living under Soviet time and living these places. That's why I see kind of more future for Eastern Europe in Europe. Obviously, now with Ukraine, it's a different situation.
Yeah, I was there I was working remotely from Kiev in 2019, actually, before I came to Zagreb, actually. When I left Zagreb, I went straight to Kiev. And so it's a city that I love, and like the history of Kievan Rus is just insane, like so interesting. And like we can talk about this for like I know 1,000 years. It's so great, but like I don't know. I feel first of all terrible, but you're right. Like the lessons from being from that part of the world, it's different how you interact with people, because it's the richness of experience that's different.
And I think that hardship of previous life or history give people perspective, even in the today's situation, the lessons we learn, and I believe the next generation learning from what's going on, really shaping our view of the world and helping us better to understand each other. So I'm just comparing, my, as I say, Canadian children with children of my Ukrainian friends. They kind of different, of the same age, because of different life experience.
Totally.
And the fact that we are communicating now, we better understand each other, we learning from each other. It's really, I believe, my hope for the future, when young generation will overcome the challenges that our generation, not me exactly, created, for you, because I'm really care about, what world we will live for you guys, and what it's gonna be next in our crazy times. But okay, let's go back to our conversation. Thank you very much for sharing your story, Steve. And I believe we will meet each other being in Bulgaria in June or in Georgia later in the summer. And we will share the next stories. Oh, we will get live story from the streets of
live story. How good would that be? That would be great.
Amazing. Yeah. After years of Zoom, to have live story with people you care about.
That would be tough.
And listen the story. So thank you very much for your time today. And again, see you soon.
Well, thank you for doing this, by the way. It's a really cool idea that you put together. And it's just interesting because you are connected to a lot of people. So you have just a really good, different reach to different people in the world. So I'm excited to see who comes on next to talk, and it's really cool. So it's a good initiative, and hopefully we do get together in Georgia or Bulgaria and have a coffee, have something to drink and chat.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a good day, night. I wish and I promote remote work and digital nomad lifestyle and stories. And I know you have a lot to share. We will meet again.
Perfect.
There are many reasons people choose to make the move to the destination of their dreams. Remote workers can work from anywhere with an internet connection. Today, virtually every part of the world is online. Once just the lifestyle of digital nomads, the pandemic has led millions of people to work remotely. Many are choosing to move to a foreign location. Retirees, too, discover how their nest egg can go farther when living in a location that offers a better quality of life while reducing expenses. At International Lifestyle Consultants, we have scoured the world to uncover the best foreign destinations to call home. Perhaps you dream of a pastoral life in the quaint European countrysides of Italy or Portugal. On the shores of the Black Sea, you can find luxury accommodations at a fraction of what you would pay in the United States and Canada. Enjoy a leisurely lifestyle of Caribbean or Pacific trade winds found in the beachside communities of Mexico, Central and South America. Choose from the many charming colonial towns located in the same region. Discover areas with quality access to dental and health care that have attracted many foreign travelers on a budget. We make choosing to live in your dream destination a reality. We have curated migratory, cultural, and investment opportunities that you will not find elsewhere. We know firsthand how to help you create your step-by-step relocation plan. You'll begin your journey by filling out our Know Yourself questionnaire. We can also arrange discovery tours so you can experience the culture up close and personal prior to making your move. You don't have to dream of living in an exotic location. Contact us today and make that dream a reality.